You good?
Yes, Prabhu, we can hear you.
Okay, good.
That was instead of the garland.
Yeah. Om Aganyati Mirandasya Ginanjanan Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Vidati Svakamantikam Neham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Scha Shri Rupam Sagrajata Sahagana Raghunathpitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishaka He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Mostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Panchakalpa Turubhisya Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna.
Morning, Hare Krishna.
Morning.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Welcome to the Bhakti Center. Thank you. Morning class. Thank you. We are going to be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, Chapter 87, Text number 3. Sasya hi upanashadrami purvesham purvajardrita shradaya daryad yastam sheman gachid akinchayanaha. Translation: those who came before, even our ancient predecessors, meditated upon this same confidential knowledge of the absolute truth. Indeed, anyone who faithfully concentrates on this knowledge will become free from material attachments and attain the final goal of life. Purport: this confidential knowledge concerning the absolute truth should not be doubted, since it has been passed down through authoritative lines of learned sages from time immemorial. One who cultivates the science of the Supreme with reverence, avoiding the distractions of fruitive rituals and mental speculation, will learn to give up the false designations of material body and mundane society, and thus he will become eligible for perfection. In the opinion of Srila Vishwanath Chakrabarti, the first two verses of this chapter can be considered an Upanishad on the topic of Brahman. Sukadev Goswami here disclaims authorship on the grounds that this Upanishad was spoken previously by Narada Muni, who himself heard it from Sanaka Kumar. So we are reading, beg the blessings of all the devotees present, senior Vaishnavas, all the senior Vaishnavas that are on the call. You can speak something, feel like a duck waddling in front of these amazing souls, and especially after Yugal Kishore Prabhu's class yesterday, was like, okay, what am I going to say?
Sweet Clint.
Fired up and clear and lucid. And so anyway, let's see what happens. I love the analogy yesterday of the 2 grains getting ground. There's 2 grains in the grinding mortar that just kept getting ground. Or there's grains that were getting ground in the grinding mortar. There was a few grains that were left that were sticking close. And that's the process. We heard yesterday such tragic news in India. The devotees were present. And I felt that actually yesterday, I felt the urgency in your voice, you be short.
Yeah.
Of the, the material situation is just that. We get covered, or we feel it's not pressing. We have time, and in these situations, they remind us. And I don't know if you all saw it, in the plane crash. One of the things that they're reporting was the Bhagavad Gita. Has anybody saw that? There was a Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada's Gita was there, and it survived. So the beautiful picture, the Gita, Krishna on the chariot, and that somehow, fire and whatever it is, it survives. And so we'll talk about this verse 1866 today, because it's kind of the purport of this whole section here. And have no fear. Have no fear. I'll protect your consciousness. I'll protect you. And so there was devotees on board, and we have no fear that the consciousness protected through their sincerity. Hare Krishna, Arjuna Prabhu. So this is an interesting section, because we've got layers upon layers upon layers upon layers happening in terms of conversation. So I'll just go through who's speaking to who, and then we'll bring it back to real life. Parikshit's asking this question to Sukadeva. He says, what's the deal here? What's the deal? How do these Vedas describe the Supreme Personality of God? And I'm not sure how that plays out, because they're material words. And we've heard in the last few classes that, anyway, when you use your words, when you use anything in the service of Krishna, it becomes transcendental. It becomes Krishnaized. It becomes, again, spiritualized. And he's asking him this question: how does that work? And Sukadeva Goswami, he says, well, this conversation actually took place before. Narada Muni came to Narayan Rishi, and he asked him the same question, a very similar question. So he goes to him and he asks Narayan Rishi, he says, hey, what's the deal? Now, Narayan Rishi was saying that this was actually discussed one time on this different planet, Janaloka. So in this place, there was a conversation happening. So this, he says, Sananda Kumar, he spoke actually that this is what happened. The breathing was happening from the body of Narayan. The Vedas came out and they started glorifying, and this is actually what was said. And so then everybody was pacified. They heard what he said, and they said, oh, that's incredible. Okay, that makes sense. So then Narada Muni hears this from Narayan Rishi, and then he runs back. He goes, sees his disciple. He tells Vyas, he says, Vyas, hey, listen, this is what I heard. And then they share it. And it's actually in the beginning, the Bhagavatam, you hear the story of why Vyas wrote the Bhagavatam. So you've got, because he was feeling this sense that I haven't completed, I haven't given everything. And so you get this kind of full circle loop that's going on. Now, this is, who's this? Narayan Rishi, who's Narada Muni, they feel distant. Sananda Kumar might feel distant, but we're here at this Roth weekend, which is a big amalgamation of devotees from all over the planet, and they all come together. And so we'll have a conversation, and we'll say, hey, did you hear what Kumar said? And I'll say, yeah. Well, and then he says, he spoke like this about 2nd Avenue. Where do you get that from? He said, well, I actually heard that story because Radhanath Maharaj was in New Vrindavan back in this time, and then he'll tell the story of what Radhanath Maharaj did at the Hulavan. And then it will go like that, and we'll hear these different stories, and we'll check. The devotees, you're checking all the time. Is bona fide? Where are they getting this from? Did somebody make this up, or is this somebody's? Yeah, what's the source of this? Who's speaking this? And you'll start listening for these different names, and then you'll have this sense of trust or not trust with who's speaking. Oh, he said that. Oh, and we want to look for the purity of where this transcendental sound is coming from. I was speaking to somebody yesterday, and they were talking about Bhakti True Maharaj, and they were saying that their experience with that was really a very powerful experience, and I was sharing that I had a very powerful experience with this person too. And so I'll share that quickly with you, because it's about the source and somebody knowing these sources. So I was with Bhakti True Maharaj. I don't remember what year it was, but one of his disciples said, "Hey, can you give Maharaj a massage?" And I said, "Oh yeah, sure, no problem." So I went over to this house, this apartment in wherever it was, Midtown or something like that. And I go and get ready and give the massage. And I've been trained in massage. So I know how to do massage, but I'm not like, a Vaidya or anything like that. And so we get done with the massage, and he says, "So, what do I do now?" I don't know. Should I take a shower? Should I put sometimes you put like after Abhyanga or something, you'll put like oatmeal, or you put something like a scrub, or should I do something like that? I don't know. I just know how to move the body a little bit. He says, okay, but just wait here. He says, wait here for me after, and we'll have a little exchange. I said, okay, no problem. And I'm looking at the clock, because at this time we were living in the Bhakti Center, and we had started this thing that we thought was going to be very, very pleasing, that we were going to take care of elder disciples. We were up there, 40 elder disciples of either Srila Prabhupada or just older devotees, that once a week we'd invite them over and we'd take care of them, give them a meal and have a conversation with them, the family. It's okay. And I'm looking at the clock, and it's 10 o'clock or something like that. It's very early. And the meal is going to happen at noon. And so 2 hours, no problem. Raj takes a shower, he comes out, and he's happy. We have a nice little exchange, and he says, why don't you just stay for lunch? And I said, oh, Raj, I'd really love to stay for lunch, but I've got this other service that I've got to do. And he said, oh, really? What's that? And I told him about it, very happy. And I said, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And there's going to be, we have Vera and Shama and Diana up there, and we're all getting ready to serve. And, today, actually, I'm the one that's supposed to host. So I've got to be hosting this person. And he said, oh, yeah, really? Who's coming over? And I mentioned the name of the person that was coming over. And he didn't even flinch. Just, oh, interesting. Okay. I said, okay. So yeah, so let's stay in the living room, chat a little bit more. I'm looking at the clock now. It's 11 o'clock. I got to get from Midtown back here, and I'm thinking, okay, it's probably got to get going pretty soon here. And as I start to get a little bit more nervous about it, then the host says, okay, so we're going to start cooking for lunch now. And he says, actually, Jai, why don't you stay for prashad? Oh. And I thought, well, I just told you what my service was. I didn't say this, but I just told you what my service was, and I've got to get back. And I said, well, Raj, I don't think I can really stay for prashad right now, but thank you so much for the offer. Okay. I'm trying to leave now. It's time to leave. Even when I remember I went into the bathroom at some point and tried to figure it out. And then I start texting Vera and them, and I say, hey, listen, I'm going to be late, but it's my day to host. And I'm getting the sauce back. Hey, you said you were going to show up on time. Why aren't you showing up on time? And I'm going, oh, please, I don't know. Raj just said I should be here, and maybe I'm going to be a little bit late. You need to be back on time. You said this is good. God, now I'm sweating, and I go outside, and it's about 11:45, and I know I'm already going to be late. There's no way to take a car all the way back in that time. I'm getting nervous. And then the prasad was that they had already started cooking a bunch of different stuff. And so it was starting to get there. And I'm just in this space of just like, what is happening? Sweating. I can't even hear what Miraj is saying. And then the guest comes over. Mark from the donut plant comes over for lunch. So he comes over and everybody's sitting together and everybody's having this. And then they're all sitting down at the table, and Raj is inviting me to come to the table, and I just feel stuck. I'm just there. Amazing soul. I told him what I was doing. I thought I was doing something great for even one of his god brothers. That's what I was doing, and I feel stuck because I feel caught in his.
Did you pray to Krishna?
Huh?
Did you?
I prayed to Krishna.
Okay.
Krishna, what's going on? And so I'm sitting there thinking, but why doesn't he just let me go?
Yeah.
He's supposed to be the most gentle person. That's what everybody's ever told me. He's supposed to be so gentle, And so now we're sitting down at this table. It's 12 o'clock. I got the sauce from Vera and them that you're late and you're a rascal and you should be back here. And this guy's going to come over and then I'm sitting there and they start serving these things out. And I'm not even present at all. And Bhakti Trumaraj can see this all over me. You can see it all over my face. And I just, they're sharing stories. And then Mark, of course, he asked the question. He says, so what was it like cooking for Prabhupada? And you think, oh, what was it like cooking for Prabhupada? Mark, he's got the donut. He wants to know what's the, and he's telling these stories and I'm not even hearing these stories. And I look at Miraj and I said, Miraj, I really need to go. And he says, no, a Vaishnav takes prasad.
Oh, wow.
What am I supposed to do here, Miraj? And I'm thinking, he's gentle. He knows my story. Why doesn't he just let me go? And then they do this thing. I'll never forget it. They do this. Have you ever had artichokes? You got to right. And I remember watching him, and he goes, and these are artichokes. And you take, there's a bunch of them. And you take an artichoke, and then you dip it in something, and then you eat it, and then you put that back, and then you dip. And this is the first course. And I'm watching him, every single one he takes. And I'm just thinking, when is this artichoke going to end? When can I just go home? Please just finish this for me. And I asked him one more time. I've already asked him a few times. I asked him one more time, and he said, please. And he says, stay. Very hard. Very hard. He says, stay. Take prasad. And I just have to surrender at this point. And I just, okay, I'm going to take prasad. But feeling great problems in my heart because, so we finished the prasad. This is an hour later. It's 1 o'clock. This whole thing that's happening upstairs is already finished. I already know it. I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble with the family. I'm in trouble on the text. We get done. Miraj, thank you so much. I can't stay for dessert. He says, fine. Like, dismiss it. Fine. If you can't stay for dessert, then go. Okay. I get in the taxi and my stomach hurts. I can't digest the food. My stomach, I'm in complete anxiety. We finally fly over here. And I come in the room and there's the family and there's the disciple, the elder disciple that's sitting there. And I come in the room and I just, Hare Krishna, I'm really sorry. And my stomach hurts. So I just sit in the kitchen, for you can kind of like hide in the kitchen. I just sat in the kitchen just for a second. And I was thinking, what was that all about? Oh my God. And then I just started hearing this sound that's coming out of the living room. And this person is just blaspheming the devotees.
Oh.
Real nasty stuff that he's speaking. He's talking about, for his god brothers. He's talking about ISKCON. He's talking about all these different things. And And I thinking, what is he saying? I couldn't believe it. I literally couldn't believe it. It was some of the most distasteful things I'd ever heard. And then I'm thinking, oh my God, I got to get this guy out of here. And of course, I thought, what mercy these great souls have. He heard the name once. He understood the whole situation. He was protecting my consciousness, actually, that entire time. You stay. Good, Vaishnavas stay for prasad. This is how it works. And so then we actually ended up saying, Prabhu, like we invited you over, but actually we can't speak like this. You're in the temple, you have to go. Even though you're senior, and yes, you have to go. And that was the start. For me, it was so important. Who do you hear from? It took us time too. We talked about how did that happen? How does that in that some person's heart? How can they say those different things? And I was thinking the whole time about the Trumraj, of how he's trying to protect the vibrations, the hearing, the consciousness, the heart of who were around, because he knew this person had so much envy and pride and arrogance and all of those things, even though I was thinking, well, no, this person has position or they have seniority, so we're doing a good service. So just like this, we're always checking, who are we hearing from? What are we listening to? Is what we're hearing in alignment with this? So here's a beautiful alignment. Parikshit, Sukadev, Narayana Rishi, and Narada Muni, they're having these conversations, and then they're relaying it to us. So yesterday in yoga class, physical classes, I'll give people the Bhagavad Gita and I'll say, pick a number. And I kid you not, over the 15 years of teaching, the most common number they choose is 16. Because I say, pick a number 1 through 18. Most common number they choose is 16. That's this thing. Unbelievable. I always go, okay, you asked for it. Divine and demoniac natures, right? They asked 16. Yesterday they chose 1623. 16. Chapter 16, text 23. Follow, your life should be according to the scriptures, right? That's the end of the 16th chapter, 1623. Krishna says, those who do not live according to the scriptures, they're not living in a proper way, right? So we've been given an amazing process for living. Imagine, and this is what I was saying yesterday, imagine you have your best friend or somebody who actually cares about you, and they give you a process to follow. And they write it down, and it's written down, and they say, actually, this is how to do it. In this day and age, we work with social media, we find everybody's trying to give us a process. Everybody's trying to give us a 3-step, 2-step, 1-step thing that you can do that's going to upgrade your life. Meanwhile, people that actually care about us have given not only a process, like a perfect thing. Here's how to perfect your life. Here's how to do it perfectly. Right? Oh God, it's so edifying. Or if you don't live according to this process, you get the whole previous part of the 16th chapter of the Gita. If you see the trial that's going on with that rapper, Puff Daddy, practically a case study of the 16th chapter. Everything that's in there in the 16th chapter is manifest through these things. Because why? There's no following of the process. There's following of the senses. And so therefore, if you don't control the senses and you have power or karma or whatever it is to do that, you're going to end up in that way. So here's the 16th chapter saying, live according to the scriptures. Here we are reading the Bhagavatam saying, live according to the scriptures. And it all starts with our hearing process. Hearing from the right person, the right source. And this is part of our loving exchanges. And the last thing I'll say with this weekend, this week, as everybody gets together from all over the world, it's such an easy time to make spiritual advancement, or it's an easy time to, degrade yourself in one sense, even as a devotee. Because this could be an amazing weekend for Prajalpa. It's very tasty to talk about devotees, right? Yes, I will be sure, Prabhu, and yeah. And I said, And it's very easy to just have a chat about devotees. And it's very easy if somebody comes from all over the world and they have something in their heart and they want to share these lower things, that we just take that in and go, oh yeah, well, I'm here for Roth. I'm in New York for Roth. And then we have this sense of hearing this lower village talk, right? Ramya talk. We have this sense of doing that. Or we listen and we do our best to purify and filter what and who we're hearing. Now, it's always easy to take shelter in kirtan, but outside of the kirtan, you're going to have so many opportunities for exchanges. Random, ecstatic, strange. Devotees are so mysterious. You know what's in their heart when they come up to you, when they talk. You never know what devotee is going to say, actually. You just never know how it comes out. Somebody can approach you for something, somebody can say something, and you just gotta, wow. Hopefully, there's enough places and experiences that we have this weekend where you can have some sweet, loving exchanges, right? Where you can really hear the holy name, where you can really share your heart. Oh, it's been so long. We saw Keshava Krishna Prabhu and Nanda Vinodni here yesterday. We hadn't seen him. I haven't seen him. I mean, how many years has it been? 7, 8 years. Such a beautiful exchange. Stalwart devotees of the Bhakti Center, and they're living in Laguna now, and now they come here. You can have such sweet, loving exchanges, or you can go down a different path. It's very, very easy to do. So these are my thoughts. This is the prayers of the personified Vedas. Any thoughts, questions, or reflections on this? John?
You thought about I like that. You live according to the scriptures. So it's easy to lose one's path if you don't live according to the scriptures.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you don't live according to them, then you live according to your whims, right? 1623, Krishna says, he who discards scriptural injunctions and acts according to his own whims attains neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme destination. And then Prabhupada says in the purport, the word karma kartaha is significant. A person who knowingly violates the rules then acts in lust, or that kama. He knows that this is forbidden, but he still acts. This is called acting whimsically. He knows that this should be done, but he still does not do it. Therefore, he's called whimsical. So it's just, there's choices that we have to make. Yeah.
Amazing class, how you are. It's great energy. It reminds me of like Radha Swami, a couple of classes ago, he was talking about, he was talking about like how we all in the process of purification, be purified by the way we live, the way we treat others, and by our service. So it reminded me like the way you said, like, it's the necessity to master your senses. And I think Buddha also talks about it. The alignment, it's like mastering your senses and mind. It's like, adjusting your tires and your wheel. You have to be adjustment there. Without that, you cannot live properly in alignment. So it just reminds me like when you say the purity and necessity to be pure. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Yeah, otherwise you're going off the guardrails, flying right off that bank. Yeah, go ahead.
Question.
Yeah.
I understood that it's that we should.
There's 23 people listening online. If you come close, come.
We should learn how to see different situations in life as a Krishna's mercy or Vaishnavas. So how do you have any maybe some good advice for how to see the difference in a difficult situation, to how to to see Krishna or this arrangement of Krishna, or
You're saying it's difficult to, sometimes you're saying it's difficult in
Yeah.
difficult situations that, wait a minute, Krishna,
Yeah, it
ordain
is
this.
arrangement, or this is my delusion, or
yeah,
what is it? How to base any advice, or maybe you explain.
yeah, how do you see Krishna's hand in that? What do you think, Arjun Prabhu? How do you see Krishna's hand in all situations?
But being Krishna conscious, being hooked up to Sadguru, Sadhana, and Shastra, with sadhu something.
And what if you don't? Then you just won't see it. So you're saying if you're Krishna conscious, you'll see it. If you're not, then you're going to say this is a dirty arrangement, and I don't know, this is a problem. He cut to the point. Arjun just cut to the point. Sounds like you always say that too, Arjun. It's always association. To association lifts you, not right.
First principles, association.
And it kind of reminds me of like that story of which animal you feed. Which one do you feed? Which side do you feed? Like human beings have propensity to be the holy, to go to the holiest of the holy, or to go to the bottoms of the bottom. It's, if you feed human nature, or you integrate it through these processes, then which animal do you feed first? Through this process, through this tool that we're given, that depends on how we're going to be. Like you said, association. Who do you hear? Who do you associate? Who do you hang with? The minds.
So association.
Association is the way forward. That's right. Yeah. Anybody online?
Hare Krishna. Thanks for class, Jai.
Hey,
I was just thinking to the question of how you see Krishna. I always think if you look for grace and you really realize how much grace befalls you every day, it's all those little things that you don't even think about. The things that, like the car that rounded the corner didn't hit you. Like, the other day my phone went dead, but I found somebody to fix it. And we just go on through life. We don't see the gazillion ways that Krishna all the time is protecting us and sending us in the right direction, because we just kind of take it for granted. But when you stop, and I always call it what went right, when you find those arrangements, when you see what went right and things you didn't do it, and it happens so many times during the day, then I think you really are able to see Krishna is our maintainer and our protector, and able to see in our lives. So that was just when you guys were talking, that just came up. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. All the little things. We're breathing air. There's water, there's showers, there's prasad, there's seva. It's amazing, right? We're very fortunate. Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you, Nanda Bihari.
It's easy to see Krishna's loving hand when you are Jamuna Jaya. But what if you are a downer? What if you are always disturbed, always worried, always thinking worst case scenarios, always assume someone else's stupidity and injustice towards you? Well, how to see Krishna's loving hand when you're like that, when your wiring is like that?
You got to get out of those lower modes, man. Nanda Bihari. Those modes are heavy, huh? Yeah. Yeah. The kirtan always lifts anybody out of any mode, though. That's the real deal. I hear you. Actually, it's very difficult sometimes for different, as you said, there's different wirings. There's heavy wirings for people. But it's kind of the essence of what we're discussing. They ask the question, how do these Vedas glorify Krishna? And ultimately, whether you've got this mode or that mode or whatever it is, service, association, the holy name is beyond that. And so anybody can recognize that, even though it's very, even if somebody's very, very covered. I mean, there's something, because Krishna's in the heart and he's working and he's excited to reconnect his jivas.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was thinking, Haribol, I was thinking how important it is to really be grateful and cultivate gratitude in our spiritual life, because we may not be able to. We're talking. This is a very high philosophy. We're trying to cultivate Krishna Prem, but where's Prem in my heart? I'm so far from this. So to start, what feelings we're supposed to, not supposed to, but we want to start cultivate emotions. So can I start cultivating gratitude and what can I be grateful? I can be grateful. You're talking about the Sastra guiding us. Oh my God, this Sastra is guiding me. There's something I can be taking shelter of here. I'm so grateful for this. And then we value it. We don't just put something on the shelf where, oh my God, I need this. I want this. And transformation will start to happen because we are truly valuing it. And I was just reflecting on, this is a bit of a sensitive topic for some, but we're all really struggling, most of us, with sex in this culture because and Prabhupada talked about it, that no, we should be giving up sex life. But it's this culture, it's like, no, sex is normal. So everyone, it's like eating, everyone needs to have sex. And the scripture's telling us, Prabhupada's telling us, no, this is not normal to just have regular sex. Sex should be for having children. But most people are thinking, no, I need to have sex just regularly because that's what my body needs. And it's actually no. Once we become attached and we become more attached to Krishna, then we actually feel joy. We feel the happiness. We feel that gratitude start rising in our heart. And when we're splayed out and we're like, no, I need this sense gratification. I need that. That joy in Krishna consciousness cannot really arise. And those feelings cannot arise. And we have to think, I'm sacrificing that for the whims of this sense gratification, for this sex I'm having, for this thing I'm doing. And so scripture is trying to convince us of that and guide us through that. So thank you. I appreciate the points on how important it is to be taking shelter of scripture and not just hearing it, but really letting it enter the heart and wanting to follow it, following what these previous acharyas, these sages are themselves doing, and the examples of how they've struggled and shown us this is how you truly become joyful in life. This is how you become connected to Krishna.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much. Arjuna Prabhu?
I'm just wondering, who is that?
Mathura from Lasha. Mathura.
Yeah. Arjuna Prabhu is giving you the Haribol Mathura Prabhu. It's a great point because we were just in Kirtan and that the last two not the last two Tuesday talks, Pranath Maharaj said he was talking about Kirtan, right? He was talking about as a meditation. He said, sometimes we come together, we think it's singing. He said, it's not singing, it's a meditation. And he says, it's not meditation, it's prayer. Because actually it's not prayer, it's a way to engage every part of your gross and subtle body in its deepest purpose. And when you think about that, that's the association of a sadhu. That's his happiness. That's where he engages everything. Now, in the other end of it, the material aspect, then what's the highest? What you said, it's sex, right? Every aspect of yourself engaged in the bodily concept, or every aspect of yourself engaged in an eternal relationship, and the happiness that actually comes from that. And then when you're in that fire of being around those sadhus who have, that's their taste, it gets transferred into the heart. Yeah, this is the greatest. This is who I really am, and they lift you from that. So thanks for bringing that up. It's very powerful, very important.
Thank you, Jai Giridhari Prabhu. Follow the sadhu. If you're crippled, unintelligent, stupid, disturbed, frustrated, just follow the sadhus and you'll be in a good place, right? That's what I do.
That's it. That's it. Just follow them.
Shadvi Didi has her camera on. Is that a sign that she wants to glorify Krishna? Yes? Her eyebrows went up. No questions, Sadhvi? Okay.
Hey.
Thank you. Thank you, Jai Giridhari Prabhu.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. The lotus feet of our spiritual master, the only way by which we can attain pure devotional service. Bow to the lotus feet with great awe and reverence. His grace across the ocean of material suffering, stay in the mercy of Krishna. I only wish to have my consciousness purified by words emanating from his mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is perfection, fulfills all desires. He opens my darkened heart, fills my heart with transcendent knowledge. He is my Lord, birth after birth. From him ecstatic praying emanates. By him ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master, the ocean of mercy, friend of the poor, and the Lord and master of the devotees. Master, be merciful. Gives the shade of your lotus feet, fame spread all over the world. Take shelter of the lotus feet, Srila Prabhupada. Jai Giridhari.
Hare Krishna. Dear devotees, welcome to the Afterglow. How wonderful is Shastra that Shastra is guiding us. And how wonderful is Srila Prabhupada that he made the Shastra available to us. He lovingly translated it and made it relatable. Hare Krishna. Would anyone like to speak? Thank you for your association. It's so wonderful that devotees take turn to give class every morning to guide us, to share their realization, like Mathurnath Prabhu spoke wonderfully today. He said what I needed to hear somehow on that touchy subject. Jumala Jaya, so how are you so blissful? What sadhu are you following?
I'm following Prabhupada. It's only a Standard Swami, who is such a jolly, wonderful guru. I'm following my dear uncles, Radhanath Swami, Jayadvaita Swami, and all of those. But I'm headed to the park to help set up. So I hope to see folks over the weekend. But I'm just remembering something that Chuta Gopi told us last year before Rath Yatra, and something that was alluded to today, that it's a great time. It's like this family reunion, but just for me, reminding myself that I'm not just gonna like hang out and like chitty chat, but really use all that chanting that we'll be able to do, down Fifth Avenue as a prayer, as a meditation, as a service. Gurudev was just reminding us the other day that, our japa is a service, and this is one big service, and to think about all that Prabhupada had to do that first Rath Yatra, like where he was king of the world, like rolling down Fifth Avenue. So just like hoping to enter this weekend in that prayerful mood, as well as, the celebratory and fun and getting to see people mood. But I just remember Chuta Gopi last year, like she warned us to be in that mood, and I'm thinking about that again. So Hare Krishna, hope to see you guys in person sometime on the weekend.
Thank you, Jumala Jaya. Dayal Gauranga Prabhu shared how he asked Radhanath Maharaj, how was Ratha Yatra for you? How did you enjoy Ratha Yatra? Something to that effect. And Maharaj looked at him and said, it's not like that for me. I'm here to serve Lord Jagannath. I'm not here to enjoy, I'm here to serve. That's just to the point that Jumala Jaya was making, that this is a service that we all render. to the Guru, to Lord Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra, to our fellow Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis and Vaishnavets. Speaking of Vaishnavets, Bhima Prabhu, would you like to contribute to the class? Yes, no? What was that? Okay, there he is.
Can you hear me now?
Hmm.
It's like a commercial.
Yeah.
Very, very quickly. It is about enjoyment, our personal enjoyment. If we are full of joy, if we are happy, that is the greatest service that we can give to the Vaishnavas and to Krishna. Krishna is our father. We forget that. It says, "Oh, Krishna, we have to, sacrifice and suffer and reject reject um, this level of happiness." The thing is that this is the greatest service. Why? Because this is what attracts others, devotees who are having doubts. When they see you're happy and overjoyed and happy enough to dance and chant and wear nice clean dhoti or dress up nice for Lord Jagannath, in the streets of New York, this party in the streets, everybody wants to party in the streets. What's wrong with being happy? Okay, I shouldn't do it because I'm happy. I'm here to serve. The greatest service you can do is to be happy, is to suck up that nectar, and then that nectar is what you distribute by virtue of the smile on your face, the shine in your eyes, and the come on, let's go. Let's jump in the middle of this kirtan. So this whole thing about the only way we're going to get out of sex life is because we're seeking something. It's natural to the soul to, number one, abandon ourselves to someone, a personality, to surrender, and excuse the image. Excuse the image, but this is Prabhupada's image. Okay, he says it. I can't remember where, but it's in a purport. He says, "Surrender like a bride under the bridegroom on their wedding night." Okay? So the only way to get rid of sex life, the yearning for that, the only way to get rid of the mundane, the wallowing in the mud that's here today and gone tomorrow, the only way to do it is to go out and seek that bliss, to seek that nectar and go for it. Who cares whether you're happy or sad or anything like that? Just keep getting the nectar. If your cup is full of ink, pour milk into it, and eventually the ink runs out. So I just had to say that all this, we shouldn't be seeking happiness. But look at Jamuna Jaya; she's on her way to do some service, and nothing but smiles, nothing but the Jamuna Jaya going across New York is like the sun going across the sky.
I ran into her one time on 34th. I couldn't believe my eyes. Yeah, there's one. Go ahead, Bhima.
Yeah, because she shines. Devotees shine. I mean, this is a physical attribute. When you see a fixed up brahmachari, you notice that they have they're using this word nowadays, an aura, the aura of somebody. Like we used to call it vibes. Now it's everybody's got an aura. But hey, if we're paying attention to these subtle things, we see that shine in the skin, when the skin glows because the person's living a pure life, that's very attractive. And then if you take that glow and put a smile behind it and then plans to go have fun, who's not going to join in? Krishna's just partying. All Krishna does is party. Okay? And even his war, even the wars that he engages in, it's an adventure. It's all fun. And we should enjoy that. We should even enjoy the warfare that we have to go through. When I think about the past and, all the stuff we went through back in the day, growing up as a movement and as individuals, these were adventures and these are the things we remember. I don't remember a single warm shower that I've ever had, but boy, I never forgot being out in Chicago in 10-degree below weather with the wind whipping off lake, whatever it is up there, that huge one, right? And having to break the ice in a bucket in order to pour the water underneath the ice over my bald head. I remember that. It's joy. And then, like, all of a sudden the body kicks in and you're warm, because there's nothing worse that can happen to you physically during the day than to take sub-zero degree water and pour it over your head and have to sit out there and dry yourself off in 10-degree below weather. This is all enjoyment. It's all enjoyment. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, yeah. You don't think of sex when you do that, right?
Yeah, especially with a bald head and a coping on too tight.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, this is the afterglow, dear devotees. It's supposed to be like that.
You guys
All
are
right.
wonderful, wonderful.
Krishna Mobile has their hand up. Meru, Adi.
No, I'm just saying you guys are wonderful. You guys so much fun. Like, real talk. That's all.
Thank you, Meru. Thank you.
Nanda
Nitai Chan
Bihari,
Prabhu is here. Maturana Prabhu, go ahead.
I just wanted to say what I spoke is also what I need to hear too.
Good, good, good.
I'm authentically struggling my whole life with this, and now I see, as Beam was saying, this is also part of the war, the adventure, and let's take up the reins and go, Krishna, I want you. I want to stop all this petty stuff. Come
Yeah.
on, let's start playing big. Stop playing small. Let's play big right now. I want the big guy. I want Krishna. I don't want all these little broken pieces of glass.
Yeah. Thank you, Maturana. You are on fire today. So enthusiastic.
Haribo.
I
Krishna
was gonna,
Mobile.
sorry, if I may add, like Bimo was saying about, like, it's like the biggest, like it's a blessing kind of thing to be happy. In Jewish tradition, they also saying the biggest blessing we could give somebody is like a smile and just to be joyous. So that's kind of what Bimo was saying. Just do the processes and you're gonna be happy. That's the byproduct of the process.
Thank you, Meru. There's one line from the Shastra that ties the 2 points together. Be thou happy by this yagya. It says, be happy by doing what? Service. Thank you. Anitai Chand Prabhu, since you're here, please share something in line with Guru Sada and Shastra.
Harbo,
Hare Krishna.
share something?
Yeah, please.
Okay, yesterday we were sharing Krishna trivia.
Krishna Trivia, you can quiz us. We're ready. Mathuranath is ready.
Who's
Meru
the
is ready.
vampire in Krishna book? Who's the first dragon in the Bhagavatam? Which demon was who's the first demon to start global warming? 3 questions.
Global warming, Hiranyakashipu.
Yes.
No. The first dragon in the Bhagavatam?
Yeah.
I'll let Bhima handle this one. He's expert on demons.
And who's first vampire in Krishna book?
First vampire and first dragon.
Yeah. And once you get that, then there's another one.
Come on, dear devotees, wake up. Jeev Jago.
Was Putana the first vampire?
Yes, fawn of drinking blood. And okay, and first dragon.
Alrighty. The big snake demon whose mouth looked like a cave.
Akshaka.
Shotgun.
I forget the name. Am I
Akshaka is in
right?
the
You know what
Lotus
shotgun is?
Sutra of the Buddhists as
Passenger
one of
seat.
the
Come on.
8 celestial dragons.
8 celestial dragons.
Okay, you ready for one more?
I'm ready, yeah. But Trivia is my favorite.
Which avatar stops intergalactic genocide for flying on invisible cloaking spaceships by the strength of his transcendental fashion show? Is Ati Pralobam Vesha by his he stops intergalactic genocide. They're going around killing people in invisible cloaking spaceships, and he stops them with his by dressing very nicely. Ati pralobam vesha. And they have a drishta turbihi. They have invisible cloaking spaceships. Second canto.
Dressed nice, but that must be Vamanadev, no?
No. It's one of the Dash avatars, but it's a different kalpa, different creation. It's a Buddha of a different yuga, different kalpa. It's the translation is when the atheists, being well versed in Vedic knowledge, build invisible rocket ships, killing the planets of all other living entities. The Lord will appear dressing attractively as Lord Buddha, and basically, it's following the theme of our Buddha because they're using Vedic knowledge to kill, and then Buddha appears and tells them to be nonviolent.
That's pretty cool. Never heard that one before. Thank you.
So instead of Vedic technology of spaceships, our Buddha has the Vedic technology of sacrifices. They're misusing it, and then he comes and appears and tells them to stop. But this one he does it with, it says Ati Pralobam Vesha, by his attractive dress. So maybe he has like a fashion show, a little catwalk. It says this thing.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Nityananda Chandra Prabhu always has something new to share every time. Adipusha Prabhu.
Hare Krishna,
Yes, go ahead.
go ahead. Right, Srila Prabhupada, I don't know what to say. I wasn't expecting to speak, but what would you like to say? Hopefully he'll answer that prayer. Well, it was a wonderful class. Jai Giridhari made some fantastic warning, legitimate concern that in the Association of Devotees we might. Can you hear me? Somebody else is talking. Sorry.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So he said, Prabhupada said, spiritual life is like a razor's edge. We have to be careful. One slip and there's blood. So we try to be careful about how we use our interactions with devotees. But Krishna, Bhagavatam class is about glorifying Krishna. Krishna's taking care of us, and he gives us the quality of association we ask for. If we're looking really for people who will speak the truth, Krishna will give us first-class devotees to speak into our life. And we can choose to allow them to speak and to follow what they say. Arjun said very nicely, because somebody was saying, well, how do you do that? How do you come to that standard of making the right choices? And Arjun said, Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. We were reading last night, Nashamiti Stavit Arukamang Grims Prashati Hata Paganoyam Tum Mahishan Paravishobi comes Kinchananam Navernita Yava. Prabhupada said, one must take shelter of a pure devotee who has nothing to do with this material world, but is simply engaged in devotional service to Krishna. Only in this way can you pass beyond the material contamination. So it's not just that we follow a process, surrender to a list of rules, surrender to a building or an institution. We surrender to a person. We develop love and trust in a person, and we act in a way to please that person. And we're sensitive to say, does this please you? I'm in parallel park here.
Thank you, Adipusha Prabhu.
Well,
I'm here at Whole
Prabhupada.
Foods.
Huh?
Hold it. I'm going to share Krishna Miracle. I'm wearing this New Vrindavan t-shirt. It says New Vrindavan on my back. Then Adipusha Prabhu is speaking. Adipusha Prabhu has long-standing relationship with New Vrindavan Dham. And then here at Whole Foods, this song is playing right now. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Is that a valid Krishna miracle?
Yeah, it's a miracle. It's a beautiful thing. Joyous occasion. It's a joy.
Yeah. Sure. Okay, Narottam Nitai Prabhu, followed by men.
Yes,
To
no,
see
I
what's
just wanted to say,
happening.
I wanted to answer the question someone had mentioned about, if you had thoughts about like things that are like worldly, like politics or etc. How do we,
Okay.
kind of come back to Krishna consciousness? So my my answer to
If
that
you're
is,
talking while they're talking, I can't hear either one of you.
oh, no, it's can you hear? Okay, yeah. So I wanted to answer the question that if we're having thoughts, worldly thoughts like about politics or something that is taking us away from Krishna consciousness, how do we come back? So my answer to that is a lot of times this um I try to offer these thoughts while I'm chanting and then dovetail them to Krishna conscious thoughts while I'm chanting, and then the other answer is to try to um just think about like Krishna Leela or something that is some Krishna conscious pastime, and then let that overtake our thoughts, because a lot of things, not even a blade of grass moves without Krishna's approval. So a lot of the times, if it's historical, political, etc., I'm able to do that. And that song from Nityananda Mahajan, where we should only try to talk about Krishna, speak about Krishna, listen about Krishna, teach about Krishna. That's what I'm trying to do. Even if I have these thoughts, either I'll write them down or try to dovetail it to Krishna consciousness, because I don't want to speak about those things and disturb anybody's mind. I would rather offer it up to Krishna as like a sacrifice of my thoughts to Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Narottam Nitai Prabhu. Very helpful. Dovetail and offer it to Krishna. Can't go wrong. Men.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I have a question for Adipurusha. In regards to pleasing Krishna, I was reading the book Perfect Questions and Perfect Answers last week, and in it, Brahmatirtha asks Prabhupada, how do we know if we are pleasing Krishna? And Prabhupada says, when we please the Lord, we see him. How can I understand that? Because in some ways, I feel like I don't see Krishna.
You're asking a good question, as always. Sincere, intelligent question. And Krishna, Prabhupada tells us, he reserves the right, the prerogative, not to reveal himself to anyone and everyone. If you see somebody doesn't really want Krishna, Krishna disappears and they think there's no God, God is dead, I'm God, everybody's God. They have this, when we're not serving Krishna, then Krishna says, okay, I'm out. But if we're trying to serve Krishna, then Krishna will reveal himself in so many different ways. And then we can recognize him because he's here. He's with us always. Just like Dhruva Maharaj, he went to the forest and his guru told him, chant this mantra, bathe 3 times a day, eat very simply, control the senses, keep meditating on the holy name, Om Namo Bhagavatam. And then at one point, he saw Krishna and he realized, gosh, Krishna's been here all along, but I didn't see him. I didn't recognize him. There's nothing to see but Krishna. But some people don't see Krishna as Krishna. The atheist Krishna. When Krishna, you know that story? Krishna goes into the wrestling arena. Can you hear me, men?
Yes, I know that story. Yeah.
So he goes in the wrestling arena. Mother Jasoda saw Krishna as her child. The gopis saw Krishna as the boy next door. The yogis saw him as the absolute truth. And Kamsa saw Krishna as death. They were all looking at Krishna. There's nothing to see but Krishna. But the ones that are trying to please Krishna, Krishna reveals himself. So that's all. That's our process. Lord, how can I serve you? I'm available to you. I want to please you. And then he will reciprocate with that. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you. I really love you telling that there's nothing but Krishna to see.
Right.
That's amazing.
But
Thank you.
we recognize him. Krishna is our friend. Krishna's in control, and we're meant to please him. That's the peace formula Prabhupada gives us. Yeah, we're just repeating what we're hearing from Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, dear devotees, for your association. Happy Friday. It's Ratha Yatra festival time. Put on your best clothes. Come serve Lord Jagannath and be happy. Chant Hare Krishna and be happy. 2 instructions from Srila Prabhupada. Let's try to fulfill them together. Hare Krishna. We love you. We need you. Have a wonderful day. Karen, please unleash Isaiah and Annabelle. Bring them close to your device.
Unleash.
Did it work?
One more time. I couldn't hear that.
Actually, let's try it to, let me.
Try now.
Great. Perfect.